Hi, I'm Sean Carruthers and welcome to How Do I on Butterscotch.com. In this series we're taking a look at how to use digital SLR lenses, and specifically in this episode we're taking a look at prime and everyday lenses. Now an everyday lens is probably something you got in your camera kit when you bought it. Most of them come with a lens, and generally you come with a lens that has a basic amount of zoom and not too many frills. These are good for tooling around and getting used to the camera, but chances are you'll want to get different lenses fairly quickly. Now the one thing you might want to consider beyond the lens that came with your camera is a prime lens. A prime lens is essentially a fixed focal length lens. In this case, it is 50 millimeter. It doesn't zoom or anything like that. It has very few moving parts because all it has is the focus on this. Now the one advantage of a prime lens is typically it has better optics. With a zoom lens, you end up with a bunch of moving parts and you have issues as you move things to and from. You have different clusters of glass inside. This is a much simpler lens, so the ability for most prime lenses to have very clear optics is much higher. So it's worth doing that if you want really clear shots. The other thing is, because it has less moving parts in this, is it's also lighter, which means you don't have all of the mechanisms inside here weighing it down, which means ultimately, when you are carrying this around, it's lighter on your shoulder, and if you have it in your kit, it's lighter in your kit. The other thing it does is it teaches discipline. So you have to walk to and from your subject and frame it the way that you want to in camera. You have to walk to the shot rather than just hitting a zoom and getting it that way. So you really learn what makes a good shot by going out, moving around and doing it. Now the downside, as I mentioned, is you do have to walk to and from your subject in order to get the shot you want. You can't just zoom. It actually requires a little bit more work. So that's a bit of a downside. The other downside on the prime lens is that your bag will get heavier if you want to have a whole pile of different lenses on top of this. So it's not as versatile as the everyday lens, because you can't zoom. You have to have another lens that achieves different effects. Keep that in mind when you get that. You may want to get some other lenses as well. However, again, for a good everyday lens that doesn't have the moving parts, a prime is a great lens to consider. Don't forget to check out the other parts in this series where we'll take a look at some of the other types of lenses and how they work.